Why didn't you believe me?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm your girlfriend. And you trusted her over me.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Right, very special break from the norm here now, because she's come all the way down to our Yabby Creek Coastal News studio. It's Miss Ali Harris, who plays Dana, and as president of the Dana fan club, everyone needs to bow because this is super exciting. Hello, welcome to Coastal News Podcast, Ali.
Thank you so much for having me. The weather here in Yabby Creek is delightful.
Oh yes, never rains, never pours. It's fantastic. Treacherous journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Treacherous journey from Summer Bay, just down the road. Maybe.
Yeah, it's a dangerous old road though,
Yes, it is. How many kidnappings can occur on one road,
Yeah, it's littered with graves and car parts, I think.
Probably, explosives and whatever.
Yeah, as it should. Hopefully, though. Thankfully, you made it, and welcome. You are. It's official, Ali. Dana, I should say, is Coastal News listeners' favourite character. Well, it was favourite new character of 2024, but she feels like she's been around for a while now. We are behind in the UK. I don't know if you know, but not too far. But yeah, she was voted favourite, and well deserved, I reckon.
Thank you very much, and also thank you to everybody and for those votes. It's really touching to have so many people respond to her.
I think she's so relatable, and I think her comedy delivery by yourself. Your comedy timing's fantastic, and I think especially when she's with because I think the best characters work when they bounce off some of the really loved characters, and the show's great at doing that. So like when Dana and John are together, you're in for a great scene. You're gonna and things like that. What's it like working, with Shane and things, and doing that comedy lighter stuff? Is it good fun?
It's so fun. Shane is so lovely. He always buys me treats. He always buys me Turkish delight, actually. He always just surprises me with like a treat, like a baklava. It's very, but then he never has any. He says, "Oh, I can't have it, but you have it." And I'll be like, "Okay, thank you." But he's absolutely lovely. And we have a lot of fun. It's really, the comedy stuff is, it's great to do. It's really nice because Home and Away doesn't always have that, and because we film, I'm sure we film so incredibly quickly. It's really difficult to film it's difficult to film all of it quickly, but especially when you are doing something that is incredibly dramatic and involves a lot of moving parts. We still film on the same schedule. So that stuff, sometimes it can just be kind of mind-boggling and very difficult. So it's really nice when it's just, it's me in that little Can-Am, that little beach buggy with Shane, and I'm in my uniform, and we're just going to make some jokes. That's a lovely day.
Yeah, we're just going to find some toxic waste and have an old chin wag about it.
So funny. I remember reading those scripts and being like, "Oh, this is unrelated to anything. I'm just going on a side quest, I guess."
Oh yeah. It's funny. So Sophie and I, who can't be here today, boo, sorry, but she'll send her love. She's gutted she's missing this recording, so we'll have to get her to say hello at some point. But she, we came over to Palm Beach. We did the Home and Away fan pilgrimage. About a month ago, and we came on the the tour that gets in the way, once a week, whatever, the tour rocks up with all the tourists. We came on that, and Yeah, we saw we saw quite a bit of film. We saw yourself filming as well, and it was so funny how fast we commented how fast you just sort of upped and moved. You know, and we were like, oh, it's so fast, like the pace that you film it. I don't think you quite appreciate it. I think you know how
Yes.
fast things happen.
Look, even until I joined it, I did not realize.
Yeah,
Just quite the level of it. It's so much faster than kind of any other TV. I'm so
yeah,
sorry I didn't see you. It's like it is such a strange experience when the groups come through out on
I know.
location, because it's sort of like an audience, but it's not an audience, and
Yeah, yeah,
you never get really like enough time to like say hi to anyone, or it's sometimes like, I mean, the thing with Home and Away, I mean with all acting in general, is it's they say this in the industry, it's very much this thing of like hurry up and then wait. So you
yeah.
find yourself constantly being rushed and pushed around, and no, you gotta go here and you gotta go here and you gotta go, like, if you don't eat lunch now, then you're not gonna eat lunch all day, and you gotta go here and you gotta go here, and then you get to wherever the thing is that's so important that you got to, and then they're like, take 5, and then no one comes and gets you for 45 minutes, and you're like, what was I panicking? Why did I run? Why didn't I stop? Like I sprinted over here. Yeah, it's a lot of that constantly
Yeah.
feeling like on a school excursion and you're missing the bus.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, honestly, we were just stood there going, "Oh my gosh, this is like they've picked the boat up and the camera's gone and they're in the car." And it's like, "Oh my gosh, this is the pace was mad." So yeah, so don't
Was it
worry.
good weather
Yeah.
when you came?
Oh, it was gorgeous. Yes, it was like 38 or something. It was crazy hot. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. It's
Um.
nice when the weather turns on for the people.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we sandwiched. There was like bad weather before we went. Then there was us, and then there was bad weather when we left. So I think we were really lucky. Um. Yeah. And we watched a bit of copycat filming a bit further up as well, and because we didn't want to watch too much of yourself, because there was an actor that you were filming with didn't recognize, so we didn't want to spoil anything, you know.
Oh,
So
yes, yes, yes.
mm,
It's, I mean,
mm.
I'm terrible at spoiler stuff, so I'm just like, I'll say nothing. I'll just make sound.
So I'm the same. I can't keep my water in, so I'd be a nightmare. um, so how did you come about playing Dana on Home and Away? What was that process like audition process and thing?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of it's pretty standard. Like it came through my agents, and I remember actually slightly less standard. I usually like I never miss an audition email, but I happened to be I was going on a holiday with my family,
Nice.
um, because even though I'm an adult, sometimes if family take me on holiday, I say yes. And I
Absolutely.
yeah, I guess it would have been, I think I would have got the email when I was maybe like in the sky or something, because I went to Canada. And so I just didn't see it for like a long time. And then sometimes, your email goes like, it's been a week. Do you want to reply to this? And it popped up and I went, oh my goodness, that's an audition. And I was like, oh God. And I realized I had a day to like learn it and put it down. And I just went,
Oh
well,
no.
whatever, I'll just do it. Like, and I fortunately had a friend in Canada. So I called him up and I was like, will you just be on Zoom with me? I
Mm.
built like a little tripod out of my suitcase and my sister's suitcase. And she was like, don't touch my stuff. And I was like, shut up. I got to do this. And then, yeah, I just kind of put this scene down and then didn't really think anything of it, put that audition down, came home from Canada maybe a couple of days later, and then got a call back and went to Sydney for that. And that was a chemistry test, which you guys might have heard of. It's
Mm.
um, and you can do a chemistry test not just for a romance, you can do it for a best friend, or in this circumstance, it was the chemistry test with Harper. So it was like
Yeah.
trying to find the sisters and see what that energy was.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and so I remember I went in for that and I read with a couple of girls. And yeah, Jess, who plays Harper, we always sort of tell the story because it's like, basically they try you out with different combos of different people, and in auditions you try and kind of read what's going on and you're like, what does that mean? But nothing really
Mm.
means anything. You could be sent home first because they want you and they just don't even want to see anyone else and they'll call you later, or it could be what it was for Jess and I, where we were totally the last ones left standing and we were like, interesting. we wonder, and we just had this sense, like, and most actors, like, you never know if you get anything, but we just had this very strong sense of like, I think we're going to see each other in 2 weeks' time. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's great. So you could feel it in the room, like this is working, like you said, chemistry test, but like, you know, you just had that gut feeling that this feels right for us.
Yes, yeah, and I remember landing in Perth, and usually I think they say like, you know, oh, you know, the weather is because I'm from Perth, you know, the weather is so and so outside, and thank you for visiting Perth, and if you are from Perth, then welcome home. It's like that kind of thing when you land. But I remember so distinctly the pilot said the weather thing, and they said, and enjoy your time in Perth for however long that may be. And I just remember hearing that and being like, that feels quite ominous.
Yeah.
But also it
It's
feels
a
quite
sign.
serendipitous, like a sign, yeah. And that time ended
Oh,
up being about a week and a half, and then I was back on a plane to Sydney.
blimey! So really, really fast
Yeah,
from
really fast.
finding out. Oh no! And now you're on the train, you're on the machine, and
Yeah.
you can't get off it.
Oh, yes, it's very true.
I suppose you and Jess coming into the show at the same time, Harper and Dana rocking up. I mean, that story, I thought that was a great introduction for these characters. Dana, she sort of arrived as a bit of a hot mess, wasn't she, on the run? Something she was being set up for. It was a great story, actually. Bad policeman. But did that sort of shared experience make it a bit easier joining such a big, long-running show? Do you think, you know, you've got that sort of shared experience together?
I would say definitely. I would say definitely. Look, like I can't speak to what technically it'd be like to come in on your own, but I have seen it. I have been there while other people have come in on their own, and I just feel, I'm so grateful to have Jess and to have that shared experience. Like we bonded really, really quickly, and it was always nice to have someone to just kind of look over to and be like, "What is going on? This place is crazy." Because it's such a crazy world. So yeah, I just feel so incredibly lucky. You know, if you can join Home and Away with a friend, it's really nice.
do it in packs.
That storyline was fun. I still remember I came through a window. That was my first entry into Irene's house, and I always think,
window.
What a cool day. I'm pretty sure Jess just went through the door, but
yeah, take that, Jess.
I know I got a pretty cool entry.
iconic house as well, the beach house, and you were put straight in there.
Yes. Yeah,
so,
I remember I didn't film anywhere else for the first few months because she was sort of hiding. And at some point I was like, get me out of the house.
Into a different set. Yeah. How so is there like a memory? So where we're up to, I'll tell you where we're up to. So because we've both confided in each other that we're not good at keeping things in. So we have Christmas break just like Oz does with the show on air. But we have our own sort of finale because we're about 6 weeks behind you. So Dana is currently she's a bit concerned about old Bree there. Al's had his heart attack, and Dana is she's trying to get through to Bree basically at the hospital. And Perry's doing he's murdering his dad over there. There's all sorts of dramatic stuff going on. But in Dana's storyline, that's where she's up to. Is there something that stuck out for you as like, God, that was a great day? I really, that storyline really got my teeth into it, or like that was just such a great day on set.
I'm trying to remember. I love working with Juliet, who plays Bree. Her and I get along really great, and we're both sort of ADHD. We both have very similar kind of mannerisms and ways of approaching things. So just in general, I think her and I mean, we always have such a good time making things up about the hospital. And I'm trying to remember if there was any. I think I remember really enjoying, there's a scene where I come and talk to her in the office. I think it's like late at night, and I'm saying like, I can't remember entirely what it is, but it's something, it's just a lot of unsaid stuff, which is really fun. I think I'm going like, okay? Like, you don't really seem like yourself. Is everything all good? And she's like, yeah, everything's great. Thanks. And you're just like, oh God. It's just that very fun scenario where, I mean, in real life, it doesn't feel so fun, but acting it is very fun. That very like
Mm.
icky back of the throat feeling where you're just like, oh God, this is so awkward. Like, please, can we just say what's on our minds? But we
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
I remember that being really, really fun.
I think
Yeah,
I know the
yeah.
scene you're talking about. Actually, on
Mhm.
paper, you probably think it's not a very significant scene, but I think she's at the hospital, isn't she? And she's at the, I think, is she at the desk or something? And
Yes. Yeah.
Dana comes in, and and you at that point you're like, there's something wrong with her, and you're trying to talk to her. I know the scene you're talking about, so that says volumes, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, that great memory. But yes, I loved that. And I also just love her being like, you're a nurse, why don't you just stay in your place? Like that kind of thing, which I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, that is not okay, Brie.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
nurses just shut. Like I think the history of nurses, like they're always supposed to be like head down, yes, doctor, just accept it. But it's like if nurses didn't say stuff, then things could also go,
Yeah.
get slip through the cracks. Like obviously hospitals are, even if you have a doctor that isn't struggling with certain things, things
Yeah.
get missed. Nurses are there on the kind of ground floor with
Yeah.
everybody. So
Yeah.
yeah, I really felt for her.
Yeah. And I think the nurses have that. It's the people side, isn't it? They're with the people, talking to the people outside of the doctor delivering some news. The nurse is often then there before and after,
Yeah,
doing the people stuff. It's a really important role in a show like Home and Away, actually. That
yeah.
60% of scenes are at the hospital because someone ends up there at some point.
It's so true. I've ticked off
Yeah.
almost everybody, working with everybody. Because someone's rolled through on a gurney at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah. They've been out driving on that treacherous road to Yabby Creek again.
Yeah, it can be, honestly, can actually be quite funny because sometimes, you'll be, because obviously characters sort of are together in certain storylines, but there are other storylines where you just go, whoa, I'm not a part of that in any way. But
Mm,
sometimes this happens, if you're police or if you're in the hospital, sometimes you will pop in for a scene or two and
yeah.
you literally just come in and you're like, oh my goodness, everybody looks exhausted. What's the story? What's going on? I'm just here to change an IV bag and then leave.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, but you're right, because obviously out of sequence, other people's stories, you're just going to drop in at that juncture, aren't you? I
Oh,
suppose.
absolutely. One
Yeah.
time I met
Yeah.
I met somebody's partner, and I think it was just like someone who was being a guestie, and they came in, and then they said, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is," they were next to someone, and the person introduced themselves, and they were like, "Oh, I'm this person's fiance," and I was like, "Oh, I'm not across that storyline. Who's getting married?" And they were like, "No, no, just in our lives, this is my fiance." And I was like, "Oh,
Oh.
right.
Oh.
Who's to say? The lines are so blurred."
Just roll with it. It's that
Yeah.
that we have like a bit of a long running joke on the podcast. We say we're just going to Jenny this, Jenny Aniston, that film, Just Go With It. You have
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
accept all information and Jenny the whole thing.
That's great.
What does a typical day look like on set for Ali? Getting to
God.
work. What's a typical day like for you at
Yeah,
work?
I mean, it's so funny. They really can vary because depending on whether you're at location or at studio or how long you're in there for. But
Mm.
on a day where I'm in there for quite a bit, gosh, I'm trying to think. I'm like, the things that stay the same. um, I pretty much always, so terrible. I always basically have like a 10-minute wardrobe call, which is like the first thing you'll go to is wardrobe, and then you go into costume. I'm sorry, then you go
Mm.
into makeup. I pretty much, I'm like, I don't take 10 minutes to get dressed, and I pretty much always spend at least 8 minutes of my wardrobe time eating breakfast.
Yeah. Yep.
Which I am supposed to make and then bring in. So often I go to the cafe downstairs. Um, like, is it that good? No, but it's oh God, if you are listening to this, please don't be offended by that, Tony, who runs it. But it's pretty good. It's just, we all know it's more of a relationship of loyalty and convenience more than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm usually shoving food in my mouth. And that actually coincidentally, funnily enough, Kyle Schilling, who plays Marley,
Yeah.
anytime I see him in studio, I just happen to be eating. It's this bizarre thing. We've yet to have an experience pretty much of walking past each other where I'm not nibbling on something. So it would be go in, eat some food, probably run into Kyle whilst I'm eating, quickly get changed. Then I go into makeup. I love the makeup room. I'm very close with all of the makeup artists in there. Laura, who runs it, and just all the women who are in there are so fantastic.
Home and Away alumni, Laura.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mostly chat to them for too long, and then if I can, I'm a big journaler. If I can get in a little journal before I go on set, that's great. But it can sometimes just be like, oh, wow, I've accidentally stood in the makeup room for 25 minutes chatting. And then you just go straight onto set. And then, I mean, it's mostly just on set doing the thing. If I have time off, then like, time between scenes, then I'm big on bringing my laptop and I do other work. If I have enough time that my brain can switch off out of Home and Away world and into a different world. But if I only have like a scene off, which could be anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour, I usually just hang around and chat, if I'm honest. I haven't found that
Bit
inspiring.
of gossip. Yeah.
Just try and get my energy. Sometimes I bring one of those conversation card games and we'll kind of like play a game. It does depend on what scene you're doing. Some scenes just require a little bit more prep than others. I go out and I get some fresh air, because sometimes if you're in studio all day, it's kind of like being in the movies all day. Like you have no sense of sunlight or temperature or anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, that's most of the day. If I'm going to exercise, I'm going to do it before I go to work, because afternoon, evening alley is not a productive lady at all. In fact, I've got nothing left. I'm just sort of dragging my body.
I bet after you're doing tough scenes at work all day as well, I bet you're drained, completely empty.
Drained and then also weirdly hyped. It's a terrible combo where, and I know I'm really supposed to kind of like, a lot of actors say this, even after like theater shows or things like that. Like, how do you come home? How do you unwind? And when I do take the time to unwind, it's so much better. But for the most part, I come home and I'm like, I'm going to have some dinner. I'm probably going to watch some TV. And then I stay up too late because I don't want to clean the kitchen. And then I roll into bed.
Yeah, and it sounds very, very similar. We're all related. We're all related.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh, so because you film studio and location sort of one week another. Is that right? So does that sort of get a bit?
We do both actually. So we do.
Cool.
Yes, we do location and studio in 1 week, and we film out on location Monday through to Wednesday, sometimes a Thursday, but Monday through to Wednesday. So you can do a day where you are doing both. Sometimes you'll do a day where you'll do what we call a double.
That's a bit of a drive, isn't it?
Oh, it's a bit of a drive, especially on the double crossover days where you might start at locations. You'll drive out from the city out to Palm Beach, then you'll drive back to studio, back into the city, and then you'll drive back out to Palm Beach, and then you'll drive back home.
My Lord.
Those days I try not to think about anything other than what's in front of me.
Yeah, that's the best way, isn't it? Yeah. What's next?
Yep.
Yeah. Don't blame you. Oh well. On behalf of all of us fans, thank you for the enduring that, because we love watching.
Oh, I'm so glad you like watching. It's really nice to hear.
Yeah, we watched it for decades, Sophie and I. You grow up on it, and then we actually only made friends and started the podcast through chatting about the show online with each other, and then it's snowballed, and now we're just it's hot. All we do, all we talk about, but we love it, so it doesn't feel like a chore.
Yeah. I mean, one My favorite thing, I love watching TV shows and then psychoanalyzing the characters and then
Yeah,
just forming these
yeah,
very strong opinions about them. That
I
was
know.
not the right thing to do.
I know, and either way, whether it's because sometimes we won't always agree either, Sophie and I. And we've watched Home and Away all week, Monday to Friday, and it's like a routine now. We get down on a Friday night, we open a bottle of wine, and then an hour and a half in, I'm like, don't come at Dana, like defend her to the hill, and we'll be, it can get a little bit like that sometimes, and we'll, but it is really good fun. It is good fun.
That's very fun. I love that.
Normally, we could tell because when you hear it back and you're doing the edit, yourself, don't you, thinking, oh no, he's had too much wine tonight. He's getting a bit irate.
Look, I totally get it. When I watch other shows, when I see comments and I think, do people know that this isn't real? Like, we're actors? And then I'll immediately watch something and be like, no, like, don't do that. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
The same. We're all the same.
It is. When you've caught yourself pacing the room. Yeah. Yeah.
Was there anything anyone's done recently that you've just gone, oh, that's a terrible idea?
Oh well, so not myself, but Sophie definitely has been quite vocal about Tane and his, baby escapades with Harper. And not just that, like the general Tane at the moment, I think. But obviously he's gone through a lot as Tane, so I try and balance things out with that one. But or stoke the fire, whichever way you look at it.
That's very
She won't mind me saying that. But you're invested in these characters. You're giving them hours and hours of your life a week. You're gonna land on a side, aren't you?
You're gonna have an opinion, yeah.
Yeah, and it may. I mean, the best thing that's come from that is we talked. Other listeners get in touch and they're like, well, I think that too, or actually I think this because I've had this experience, and you end up having this amazing conversation around the show. And I think I think soaps are really unique in driving that conversation, because you're not sort of start it, watch it, done. There's always another chapter coming. It's like a book that never stops. Yeah.
It's very true. It's very true.
Mm-hmm. Okay, speaking of other chapters coming, do you want to play a little quiz before we go?
I would love to.
We were talking off air about these BuzzFeed quizzes. So there's one that's what would your home and away plot be? So if Ali was living in Summer Bay, should we find out what her plot will be? And hopefully no story team pick up on this, because I tested this earlier and I didn't like the story I got. So.
Please. Okay. Well, yes, if I get the same one, then we'll know that the quiz is faulty.
Yes, exactly. And we obviously, well, if it's the same one as well, we're not, you're not going to want it, because I was like, what? Anyway, it's only a few questions, handful of questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Pick a colour, Ali, from one of these below.
Okay.
Green, purple, red, pink, orange, or yellow.
Ooh. First off, do I put my favorite color, or do I'm like, what do these colors suggest to me story-wise? I'm gonna pick yellow.
Yellow, like it. Bit of sunshine.
Yeah, why not?
Pick a city. I think I know the answer to this. Brisbane, Melbourne, Adelaide, Dubbo, Sydney, or Perth.
I mean, it's got to be Perth, doesn't it?
The hometown.
Yeah.
Pick an Aussie music act. This could be telling. Because I was looking at the options thinking, oh, a bit of a guilty pleasure here. Delta Goodrem. The Veronicas. That's not bad. Sia, Silverchair, AC/DC, or Savage Garden.
Oh goodness. That's actually very hard to pick. Got some very old favorites. A lot of childhood there. I'm gonna pick Savage Garden.
Yes, that's what I picked as well. I thought, yes, you cannot not love a bit of
Truly,
Savage
madly,
Garden.
deeply, you know.
I know,
Just
I know, I know. Chicky cherry cola.
yeah.
Right. Pick an Aussie food.
Ooh.
Meat pie, pavlova, Vegemite, Tim Tams, the sausage sizzle, or fairy bread.
Oh, fairy bread.
Really?
Really easy for me.
Is
Yeah,
it?
I'm a big
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah. I'm still need some convincing. Still need
Look,
some convincing on that.
it's fair enough. It's sprinkles of bread. It's
Yeah.
honestly, if you don't like it, it's probably good on you. It's just, I think nostalgia for me really, it just takes in.
Sort
Actually,
of
no,
growing up. Yeah.
yes. So fairy bread is my choice.
Right. Perfect. I'm gonna have to try it one day. I think I'm gonna have to try
Yeah.
it. And I'll let you know. um, pick an occupation. So, psychologist, a CEO, a writer, a doctor, an AFL player, or a singer.
Oh gosh. I want a psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist, yes.
Yeah. Get around secrets.
And I think this is the last question. You've got to pick a hobby. Okay.
Mm.
Fishing, Tumblr, shopping, watching TV, reading, or cooking.
I mean, Tumblr as a hobby is very strange.
Isn't it just?
I'm very interested about the psychiatrist that's on Tumblr a lot with a side of fairy bread. But what am I gonna pick? Let's do. Gosh. Let's do. I don't relate to this whatsoever, but just to see where it takes us, let's do fishing.
Oh, okay.
Because I have no
Right.
idea where it's going to take me.
Now I'm calculating. This is your home and away plot. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Your murderous plan has been thwarted by psychic twins. It does elaborate. So it says, you've been doing casual murders around Summer Bay for what, 10 years? So far, no one's caught you, and everything's going great. All of a sudden, a pair of twins move to town, and together with a ragtag group of friends, they are hot on your tail. You're displeased about this, so you kidnap one of them. Unfortunately for you, you don't know that the twins are actually psychic, and the twins and their friends turn up to spoil all your fun by shooting you in the face. Oh gosh. The song Hide and Seek by Imogen Heap plays as a montage as you die. And you can't say anything because you're dead. Okay, that's not a very good story, is it?
Wow. Talk about justice. I am
Well,
obsessed with that storyline. If someone said to me, whenever the time comes that you're going to leave home and away, you are going to leave via a bullet to the face by two psychic twins who stop your serial killer antics, I
yeah,
would be like, great. Let's go out in a
absolutely.
blaze of glory.
Let's do it. Season finale. Let's do it.
That's brilliant. I loved that so much.
When I was testing it earlier, mine was you are catfished by your cousin. I was like, oh dear.
That's not nearly as much fun as psychic twins.
It's not. It's not. I'd watch yours. Oh, Ali, thank you so much for coming to chat to me. It was good laugh. Congratulations again on your award. your award from our listeners. I know it's amazing.
Thank you very much for that.
Oh, and thanks for the entertainment. We absolutely love Dana. We love you, and we love what we'll be watching every night. We're back soon on air, so we can't wait to tune back in and find out what Dana's up to.
Oh, thank you again. I'm so pleased that you guys like it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for having me. And yeah, Dana's got some fun stuff coming up. And I'm
nice.
pretty hard to please. So when I say she's got some fun stuff coming up, I truly mean it.
Oh.
I hope you're ready for it.
Oh yes, right. Embrace. You've got me. So this better be good now, Ali, because I'm,
Well,
favorite character now.
it's no, psychic twins, but it's pretty good.
Well, I'm declaring it now. 2025, year of Dana.
Yeah,
Doing it.
Dana.